Good day everyone. I am Marlon Echapare, together with Ms. Lady Shane Flores and Mr. Dennis Gases. We are the Group 1 and we will be discussing Public Administration, Evolution of a Discipline. So under this chapter, we will also be discussing the meaning of public administration, nature and scope of public administration, public and private administration, significance of public administration, approaches to the study of public administration, evolution of public administration as discipline, the Minnowbrook Conference III of 2008, and redesigning public administration in a changing global environment. Public administration studies the implementation of the policies of the government. It also analyzes the policies and also focuses on the decision-making capability of the ruling government. Public administration is the implementation of government policy and also an academic discipline that studies this implementation and prepares civil servants for working in the public service. Public administration is centrally concerned with the organization of government policies and programs as well as the behavior of officials, whether elected or non-elected, formally responsible for their conduct. Nature of public administration. There are two views regarding the nature of public administration, that is integral and managerial. The first one, integral view of administration, it is the sum of all the activities, manual, clerical, managerial, and others, which are undertaken to realize the objectives of the organization. In this view, all the acts of officials of the government from the clerical positions to the secretaries of the different departments and heads of different agencies up to the president of the country is involved. Managerial view of administration. The managerial activities of people who are involved in planning, organizing, commanding, coordinating, and controlling constitute public administration. This view regards administration as getting things done and not doing things. The managerial view restricts itself only to the activities of the few persons at the top. Scope of public administration. Philippine public administration activities may be classified into four categories. Number 1. Governmental activities undertaken to protect society as a whole. This includes national defense, protective services like police, fire and jail, education, and environment. Number 2. Government activities designed to provide assistance to economic and social groups. Number 3. Government activities undertaken in the exercise of propriety and corporate powers. This includes ownership and operation of government-owned or government-controlled enterprises, better known as public enterprises. And number 4, government activities undertaken to regulate business, trade, and manufacturing. There are two types of administration: the private administration and public administration. Private administration involves activities from our own household, to different club or organization that we belong, as well as our employment in the private sector, whether it could be in a single proprietorship, partnership, or corporation. While the public administration, it comprises of all organization from the government, whether it could be in the executive branch, legislative, or judiciary. And there are three branches in the Philippine government: the legislative, the executive, and the judicial branch. The executive branch is composed of the president, the vice president, the cabinet, and the local government. The president and vice president of the Philippines is elected by direct vote by the people for a term of 6 years. For the president, he or she may only serve for one term and is ineligible for re-election. The term of the President and Vice President of the Philippines start at noon of the 30th day of June after the election. And here are the powers of the President under the current Constitution. Power of control over the executive branch, power ordinance power, power over aliens, powers of eminent domain as cheat, land reservation and recovery of ill-gotten wealth, power of appointment, power of general supervision over local governments, and other powers. And here are the executive departments under the executive branch of the government of the Philippines: the Department of Agrarian Reform, the Department of Agriculture, the Department of Budget and Management, the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the Department of Finance, the Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Health, Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, Department of Information and Communications Technology, Department of the Interior and Local Government, Department of Justice, Department of Labor and Employment, Department of Migrant Workers, Department of National Defense, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Science and Technology, Department of Social Welfare and Development, Department of Tourism, Department of Trade and Industry, and Department of Transportation. In the Philippines, the local government is divided into three levels: provinces and independent cities, component cities and municipalities, and barangays, all of which are collectively known as the local government unit. But in one area, above provinces and independent cities, is an autonomous region. The 1986 Constitution allows for the establishment of two autonomous regions in the country, the Muslim Mindanao and in the Cordilleras. Two plebiscites in 1990 and 1998 were conducted in the Cordillera to legalize the autonomous status of the area. However, majority of the voters rejected autonomy. The current existing only autonomous region in the country is the BARM or the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. There are 82 provinces at present, which are further subdivided into component cities and municipalities. As of 2022, the Philippines has 148 cities, 115 of which are component cities, 33 highly urbanized cities, 16 of which are in the National Capital Region, while 17 are outside the NCR. The newest component city is the city of Baliwag in the province of Bulacan. Last December 2022, the voters from Baliwag voted yes for the conversion of their municipality into component city. For the municipalities, there are 1,486 municipalities in the country and 42,047 for the barangays. And we have the Senate of the Philippines under the legislative branch. The Senate is composed of 24 senators, and each senators serve 6-year terms with a maximum of 2 consecutive terms, with half of the senators elected in staggered elections every 3 years. The House of Representatives of the Philippines, known as the Kamara, lower house, or just usually called Congress, has 316 seats for the 2022 election. 253 of these are district representatives and 63 are party list representatives. Both the Senate of the Philippines and the House of the Representatives were modeled upon the United States Congress. The two chambers of Congress have roughly equal powers, and every bill or resolution that has to go through both houses needs the consent of both chambers before being passed for the President's signature. Once a bill is defeated in the Senate or Congress, it is lost. Once a bill is approved by either Senate or Congress on third reading, the bill is passed to their counterparts unless an identical bill has also been filed or passed by the lower house or the upper house. When a counterpart bill in the lower house is different from the one passed by the Senate, either a bicameral conference committee is created consisting of members from both chambers of Congress to reconcile the differences, or either chamber may instead approve the other chamber's version. The judicial branch of the Philippine government. So the judicial branch or the judiciary is composed of the Supreme Court and the lower courts. The Supreme Court consists of a Chief Justice and 14 Associate Justices. The judicial branch evaluates the laws and it holds the power to settle controversies involving rights that are legally demandable and enforceable. Under the 1987 Constitution, there are three independent bodies in the government that do not fall under the executive, legislative, or judiciary branch of the government. They are the Civil Service Commission, Commission on Elections, and the Commission on Audit. The Civil Service Commission, as a central personnel agency of the government, shall establish a career service and adopt measures to promote morale, efficiency, integrity, responsiveness, progressiveness, and courtesy in the civil service. The Commission on Elections, or the COMELEC, has two main functions: the conduct of registration and conduct of election. The COMELEC enforces and administers all laws and regulations relative to the conduct of an election, plebiscite, initiative, referendum, and recall. They also have quasi-judicial function with powers resembling a court of law. In the case of the COMELEC, they have the COMELEC End Bank, which is composed of the chairman and 6 commissioners, and they are the one deciding for electoral protests and adjudication matters. The Commission on Audit, or COA, have the power, authority, and duty to examine, audit, and settle all accounts pertaining to the revenue and receipts of, and expenditures or uses of funds and property owned or held in trust by or pertaining to the government or any of its subdivision, agencies, or instrumentalities. So when we say public administration, there is a notion that it is bureaucratic in nature, which is right. Public administration takes place in a political context and is subjected to political direction in most policy matters, while private administration is non-political and business-like. Public administration is service-oriented and profit-making is not its goal. Public administration operates within a legal framework, and public administrators or government employees are required by law to maintain a high degree of consistency in its dealing with the public. That would be all for my report. Thank you.